Welcome to the Business Spotlight, brought to you by 123 Internet Group. Hear from industry leaders, businesses and organisations about the topics that matter the most. Business Spotlight, the impact of COVID-19.
Okay, so welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name's Scott Jones. I'm the CEO of 123 Internet Group. So today we're joined by Stephen. Now he's from Connected Places. So Stephen, welcome today.
Morning, welcome. Great to see you, Scott.
Thank you. So do you want to just kickstart things by introducing yourself and a little bit about the organisation?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Lynn. I'm Marketing and Events Director for an organisation called Connected Places Catapult. We're an independent, neutral, not-for-profit organisation that's focused on helping growing businesses across the country, especially businesses with innovations in mobility services and the built environment, or in layman terms, smart cities. We work across a whole mix of organisations. We work with SMEs, startups, academia, large organisations, and both local and central government. We're part of a network of catapults who were set up to focus on specific areas that have been identified that with focus, the UK could really be world leaders in.
I mean, obviously, you know, we met and you've also been a keynote at our MK Digital Summit, which has been fantastic over the last few years. Hopefully we'll rerun that in October this year, all being well. But obviously, you know, we've had first-hand experience of some of the work you've been involved in, obviously in the heart of Milton Keynes, things like obviously the 5G, things like the data side of things, the robot delivery, which has now gone further. It's rolled out further, I understand, more recently to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're based in Milton Keynes primarily, and also we have a main office in London, and we have two regional offices in Leeds and Glasgow. And actually, you know, we work across innovation projects across the board, from drones to smart cities. But what we're more well known for, the more visible projects, are some of the driverless vehicle projects that we have conducted research and development tests in central Milton Keynes. So it's actually really interesting looking back on some of the research projects we've done in that area, because we do start to wonder whether situations such as COVID will see some of this innovation be rolled out more quickly, because you know, we're seeing how difficult it is for, you know, vital and vulnerable members of the community, you know, to receive goods, stocks, stuff they've ordered. So will autonomous technology have a role to play in the future? And I think the answer in some shape or form is yes. We never know when this type of technology will, you know, come to actual market, but you know, this type of pandemic definitely kind of brings home that innovation is going to be vitally important for the country, and vitally important dealing with any kind of situation like this again in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we sort of, I mean, myself and the business, we live in sort of this technology sort of world. You know, so we've been sort of even putting our own plans to the test over the last month or so, in terms of, you know, we have remote access, or all of our guys and girls are working from home at the moment, which is working really, really well. We're using Zoom, we're using Teams to collaborate and share information. And I guess this is what it's about, isn't it? It's using the facilities that's already there in place and using them in the most efficient way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got so much admiration for my organisation's IT team. Colleagues in that department have done a phenomenal job to make sure that me and my 200 colleagues are up. We're also using Zoom and we're using Teams. It's you know, it's been interesting adjusting to this type of conversation. I'm definitely looking forward to real live meetings rather than just over video. But you know, it does demonstrate that, you know, with the right infrastructure, the right platforms, the right innovation, you're able to deliver your business with minimal disruption, really.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think a lot of people are missing that physical face-to-face contact. I mean, you know, I attend a lot of networking events, you know, around the UK, you know, especially around Milton Keynes with the Chamber of Commerce and so on. And those face-to-face events are really important, not only to, you know, help and give advice and raise their own profile. And I'm missing that quite a lot, actually, you know, I'll be honest. And I think a lot of my team are missing our face-to-face contact within the office environment as well.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, actually, as you know, we met at one of the excellent Milton Keynes Chamber of Commerce network events that we hosted at our Milton Keynes office. And I think that really is the kind of the biggest area that I'm certainly missing, because a good part of my area and a good part of business in general is about the relationships you build. And it's great having conversations over video, but actual having that conversation about your family, what sport you might like, it's all part of the relationship and understanding of individuals. So I think one of the important parts of when we do get back to whatever normal is delivering these type of networking events in a way that is in guidelines of the government's social distancing policy, whichever that may be, because they're doing an amazing job in a situation which no one could have ever guessed only at the start of the year that would be working from our homes. So completely agree. I think that the kind of the networking events are going to be interesting to deliver in the coming months, but vitally important to help with new business, understanding new innovation, and building them relationships that ultimately help businesses thrive.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, how are you finding? Obviously, you said that the team obviously are working from home now, as many of us are, across the UK. How was that experience, sort of adjusting? I mean, we were geared as a technology company for this remote working. I've done a few days at home over the last few months and so on, and found it okay. But back then, my children were at school and the house was empty, obviously, during the day. I've got 2 young children there. They're running around. It's not uncommon to be on a call like this, and all of a sudden you get a parcel delivery arrive at the door. How are you finding that yourself?
Well, I think the most important thing really is routine. We have put in a structure across the whole organisation where we have regular check-ins across the whole business to make sure everyone's fit and well and the connectivity is up and running and they've got no issues. And I think one of the main challenges is expect the unexpected. I mean, I've got a 2-year-old. He's joined several meetings. Numerous of my colleagues have experienced the same. I had one colleague tell me how he had a Zoom meeting with the person on the other end. The video screen was upside down for the entire meeting because they weren't sure how to correct it.
Right.
So, which is quite funny. But they just went, okay, they accepted it. We're not quite sure what's going on. Let's get on with it. So I think everyone's been remarkably understanding. Because a few times I've had knocks on my door and it's deliveries. And would you expect that when you're sat at your desk in your office? Absolutely not. But the phrase "new normal" is being used in terms of a bit of a cliche almost. But it's just being flexible and understanding that everyone is dealing with different situations. I mean, my organisation has been fantastic in terms of allowing almost a sense of flexible working, recognising that parents have got kids and they're having to homeschool. So if they need to work slightly earlier, work slightly later, if they need a few hours off during the day to look after their kind of children while their partner might have another meeting, for example. I think that kind of understanding and that type of flexible approach is vital for the organisation to be successful. And
I mean, it's interesting. We've been looking at, as the owner of my business, so I've been having regular calls with the team sort of in the mornings and in the evenings, really to give them a start and end point. We've been finding an issue in the early days that if we don't have that call at 5 o'clock, time can quickly run on during the day as well. And as you say, it is about flexible working. If you start later, well, actually, that's absolutely fine. If you've got things on during the day, that's fine. I think moving back, sort of post-COVID, whatever that new normal looks like, will be certainly, already flexible, but I think we'll be looking at putting in process to be a lot more flexible with our employees. Do you think a lot of businesses are going to go this way? And do you think a lot of businesses are going to look at these sort of facilities a lot more?
I mean, I can only comment on the kind of organisations that we speak to on a regular basis, but everyone is got that frame of mind. It's how do we ensure that we don't create that environment which would bring on a second wave or third wave of this terrible disease? How do we adjust to how we deliver our business in this new environment? So, I mean, you hear some of the stories coming out from the government in terms of schools, if and when they go back, it could be that the time slots are different. Well, business will have to recognise that, you know, one of their employees, a younger child could be starting at 9 and another one at midday. So,
yeah,
you know, it's almost, again, trying to plan for the unexpected, but not really knowing what's going to happen in the coming weeks and months. I mean, we've obviously seen some great examples of other countries who have experienced this earlier than we have, started to come out of lockdown. So I think we can definitely look to see how they've adjusted and take learnings from them. But I think it's all about being understanding and being flexible for me.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on sort of the technology side earlier on, right at the start, and it's fantastic to have all these tools available to us, and the work that I guess Connected Places is doing, can really help with a situation like this. Really, you spoke about the autonomous vehicles. We've got the delivery robots that I know have extended the areas for delivery in Milton Keynes and things like this. This is all going, a long way to helping the current pandemic, isn't it? And the current situation. I saw on the Connected Places website, you've got a whole hub there of information, which is brilliant, talking about, what people are doing and how organisations are helping. Are the key things that sort of stand out for you at the moment?
Well, thank you for mentioning the hub, Scott. Yeah, we are on our website, which is cp.catapult.org.uk. We have put together and tried to make it as easy as possible for startups and SMEs to find information about all the amazing initiatives that have been pulled together at very short notice to support that community. So yeah, we're trying to, there is actually so much, which is fantastic. The government and its associated departments and other innovation and award companies that provide grants, etc., have really been fast to react, I think. And I think what we've tried to do is pull together a one-stop shop where you can cut through all the noise to find out what's relevant for you. So I would, if you are an SME or a startup in the kind of mobility or smart city arena, please do take a stop by our website, because there might be some funding opportunities, there might be a competition, there might be some business tools that will help you, deliver what you need to in this current situation. And the other thing I'd say on that as well is, if you aren't in them sectors, actually what we've found and what we try to do is draw in SMEs and startups from other sectors who technology and innovation might be applicable in our areas. So for example, we're currently running an opportunity for Network Rail. It's quite a specialist opportunity on some of their overhead lines, but what they're really keen to see is if there's any startups and SMEs or organisations of any size actually have a solution that they might use in a different field that's applicable to rail. So that's actually a really good point. Innovation might be working really hard in one sector, but actually how does it pivot and support other sectors? And I think that's going to be the interesting area to really watch in the coming months as organisations pivot their business to adjust to what's gone on, but also recognise they can use their ideas and solutions in different fields.
Absolutely. I mean, we're finding from a lot of our clients and people we speak to as well, this term pivoting, is sort of, one that's certainly going down in history, I think, is what a fellow, isn't it, as a word. But I think, businesses are adapting. They are changing. They're looking at new innovations, I think, as well. A lot of our clients, and you've seen it on the news as well, obviously, more recently, where, manufacturers are now turning to create PPE, where they're now making hand gel, where they used to make cereal and all these kind of things, and I think that's great. That really shows a really strong economy, doesn't it? Where a business can pivot so quickly and completely change their operation to produce a different product or service.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we look back on this, in a number of years' time, I think we need to recognise the amazing job that all areas of the British economy have really undertaken to deliver a step change in what they've put in place to change and put together the necessary product or innovation to help support the country. I mean, rightly so, the NHS is getting all the plaudits because, phenomenal. The key workers, the social workers, phenomenal. But also actually, if you think across all the factories that are keep on going, all the council workers that are kind of out collecting bins, all the people that are, keeping the buses going. I live on a bus route, and I see the buses every 20 minutes or so, and and you reflect that it's not just a driver, but it's the maintenance team, it's the operations team who kind of schedule. The country basically is pulled together, and it's just been absolutely phenomenal. And I do think in a few years' time we can look back and recognise during this challenging time, when hopefully a cure has been found, that there was so many unsung heroes. It's just phenomenal. I'm just in awe of all the work that's being done to keep the country moving.
100%, couldn't agree more. I mean, there's so many, not just the key workers, as you say, that the people behind the scenes that are working hard, that are producing and managing to keep these services running and operating them. It's absolutely incredible the way that businesses are still carrying on, and the councils are still running, and the bins are still being collected, and it's all being done with these safe sort of, social distancing in place as well, which we've never done before. So, massive appreciation there. I mean, I've been speaking to a lot of people as well with these series about kind of mental health. I don't want to spend sort of too much time on it, but I just want to touch on it. I mean, and I've been quite open with these as well, that I find days that are a bit of a struggle, to be fair. I think, being at home, you isolated with your family, which is great. Actually, on the flip of that, we all need our own time and our own space as well. How have you found things? What does your day look like now? Are you able to take time out and stay healthy and fit and things like that?
Well, I think, Scott, we're blessed being based in Milton Keynes, where we have the roadways and the parks and the fields. So, me and my family have been going for walks. I mean, using what's on our doorstep. So, sometimes we forget how lucky we are to be based and work in this amazing city. So, yeah, I mean, for me, that's been the kind of the way of breaking up the day. Making sure get some time within the government guidelines to go for a walk, to get away from the computer screen, because that's vitally important. And in terms of my team, we as I say, we've got a routine. We check in with each other, make sure they're okay, make sure that have conversations, talk about other stuff other than work, just really to help ensure that everyone can understand there's someone there for them. And that work is in line with my my organisation's kind of strategy as well. As I say, we've been really mindful to be flexible as possibly can, because these are hard, challenging times. I think I mentioned earlier, we're day 48 since we've been into the office, and it's gone incredibly quickly, it appears. And we don't know how long before we will get back to the office. So making sure you have a routine and making sure you kind of keep in contact with relevant members of your team, etc., is really important. And I say, we are blessed to live in Milton Keynes, with lots of cities and towns haven't got what we've got on our doorstep.
Sure.
Is a big help. And in fact, funny enough, we talked about autonomous technology in the earlier part of this conversation. And funny enough, I was fortunate enough to meet a number of years ago one of the original architects of this city. Unfortunately, he's passed away since, a guy called Bill Berrett, amazing visionary. He worked with Fred Pooley, who was lead architect for Milton Keynes. And I'd love to meet them both again now and thank them for what they've given us. But one of their visions back 53 years ago was for driverless technology. And, they actually just came up with some ideas to have autonomous technology in Milton Keynes back in the 60s and 70s. Obviously, technology wasn't around for their vision to become realized, but Bill Berrett, the guy I mentioned, he came to the Catapult about 4 years ago now to see some of the autonomous projects that we've been working on, to see his vision come true.
It must have been an amazing feeling for him, having so long ago had these sort of thoughts that back then were probably very, very early, and very, very sort of infant in their sort of even thoughts at that stage of what might have been possible. That must have been an amazing experience for him.
No, it was on to meet him, and it was honoured to hear his ideas, and actually see it come to life. It's quite phenomenal.
Absolutely fantastic. So again, routines have changed. We've embraced technology. We learned from another series. Businesses are really embracing big data and data now as well, and using all this information that we've got at our fingertips a lot more constructively, I think. I know our business certainly is doing that as well. We've spent some downtime doing processes and all this kind of stuff as well. So it's actually given us, I think, and other businesses the chance to almost take a step back, work out our efficiencies, look at kind of what we're doing, and analyze that a little bit. So out of all the doom and gloom, I think some really positive steps as well. We know that it's not going to be the same moving back. I don't think it ever can be. What sort of, have you missed it being in isolation? Have you missed certain things? Is there one crucial thing you're going to do as soon as you are let out of isolation?
I mean, from a work perspective, the thing that I've really missed is that conversation. I'm a big believer of if I need to have a conversation with a colleague, we're in the same building, get up and walk over to their desk and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Rather than just email, which often you get a lot of emails that could have been done in a 30-second conversation. So I'm really looking forward to that part of working life returning. But yeah, no, it's we've adapted and it's been phenomenal. And what is normal now, we don't know, but as long as we keep evolving, keep innovating, keep supporting the people that have the innovation at their fingertips, that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, we've seen a massive rise and spike in obviously social media activity, online usage, as you'd expect during this time. A lot of our clients have changed their tone. They've been a lot more supportive. They were already helping and giving advice before, but they've really kind of put the pressure on that. We've been creating puzzle books and colouring books for children to download and things like that, to really do as much as we can to help people. I mean, as a business, that hub that you've got through the website is absolutely fantastic, pool of information. What else have you been doing, or is there any sort of hints or tips, advice that you might want to share with somebody just to finish off with?
Well, one of the things we have been doing is one of our remits is to support startups and SMEs in our sector, and we have a number of accelerator programs that we've been continue to recruit for, and we're about to announce who will be in the next group of companies. And we've got another accelerator coming up shortly, which I can't talk about now, but I'd encourage anyone listening who is in the smart cities, smart mobility arena to keep an eye on our website. Now, as we've mentioned, we met at a Chamber of Commerce networking event, and as an organisation, we do put a lot of networking events on. So again, using that new cliche pivot, we've moved them to webinars, and we have a number coming up that some are purely based on providing guidance and advice to SMEs and startup, and giving them access to speakers who are providing funding, who are providing competitions, and also other SMEs to pitch their ideas to make sure that they can continue to market their product. Also, we have a number of webinars that are coming up specializing in certain areas. So I would encourage anyone to kind of go to our website, which is cp.catapult.org.uk, because we have a whole host of free webinars coming up that provide insight into some of the areas we work on, and also provide guidance and advice. So for example, next week we have a webinar focusing on data and local government resilience in data. So we have some experts in local government who will share their insight into how local government will use data now and in the future. We have a network and support webinar coming up called Connection Caf. We normally used to do them physically, and we will return when we can to a physical event, but we've put them online. We'll have a whole host of other webinars coming up that will hopefully help provide support, guidance, knowledge, learning. So I'd actively encourage anyone listening to this to check out our websites, because I think we have something for everyone.
No, it sounds brilliant. You've always been, you've always hosted lots of events before, I remember, attending quite a lot of those as well. And it's great to see, like you said, pivoted to put a lot of these online. And that's the best thing now as well. I've seen lots of businesses and organizations doing this as well. And it's great, we're all at home, and these webinars are a fantastic way to kind of continue that learning and that process, isn't it? So
absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, look, thank you for joining me today. It's great to catch up with you, hear about all the fantastic things that you're still continuing to do, and that you will do obviously post-COVID as well, whatever that might look like. So really appreciate your time today.
No, great to see you, Scott. Thanks for inviting me, and I look forward to seeing you in person at some point in the not too distant future.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you need advice with your digital marketing, please feel free to reach out to 123 Internet Group or visit www.123internet.agency to find out more about our services.